Welcome back to Bust Picks. We had a fantastic episode 1. I'm here. My name is Dio Reynoso. I'm here with
Don Behan.
Don, and welcome back. Don, do you have anything to tell me about, the history of the game? You didn't prepare anything, did you?
No, I prepared.
Oh, okay. What'd you prepare me?
Did you know that Devon Achane last week set the touchdown and yards record for a single player in a single game?
Wait, what?
The most accumulated yards and touchdowns in a single game by an individual player in NFL history.
I did not know that. How he broke that in his first starting game.
No player who has scored that many yards scored that many touchdowns. No player who scored that many touchdowns set that many yards.
That's yep. All right, cool. New fact of the day. Thank you so much. Well, all right, we took some notes from episode 1. We were like, we're gonna trim some fat down.
Yeah.
We're gonna slim it down, but something I don't want to get rid of because I love it. Don, you don't know this. It's question of the day.
Okay.
I have a good one. It's kind of topical. Would you rather lose in a blowout game, a la like Colorado, Oregon, or like Dolphins, Broncos, like a 70-20, or lose a close but boring as hell game to watch, like an Iowa State game where it ends like 10 to like 6? What would you pick? I'll go first.
Okay.
I would rather just get blown out.
Really?
I would rather get blown out so that way I can at least bet the over, because I would bet the over. And then just
Calvin Ridley it.
And at least I get to watch touchdowns.
Yeah.
And like I'm not watching the game being like, oh, at least Taylor Swift's at the game. At least we can do this. Like at least there's other things that we can watch at the game. What would you rather have?
Well, okay, if we're talking about a close like Iowa State kind of match, are we talking like a defensive battle,
or like a Baltimore Ravens versus like the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Okay, see, I would love that because that's a defensive matchup.
I hate those games.
Those games are just mental chess games, and I love those. If we're talking just bad teams, like if we threw this week Broncos Bears, just ineptitude on the field? No, I'd rather not be a part of that.
We're teasing it already. I'm so excited for that game.
Dude, that game's going to be fun.
Let's go into our very first segment. It's Run It Back. We're going to go through every single game this weekend. We're going to give a quick statement on every single game.
Sure.
I don't know do you want to give us the games, or we can go through all right, we'll go through my list.
Let's read it off.
We're going to start with one of my favorite games of the week. We previewed it last week, Chargers versus Vikings. So I have a couple notes.
Okay.
First thing. Just for all the people, because Justin Herbert's been getting a lot of unnecessary hate. I want to talk to the people. If you don't think he's top 5, you're out of your mind. Not only just top 5. If you are saying stuff like Trevor Lawrence is better than Justin Herbert, get out of my face. There is no world.
Herbert's that guy.
He's insane. Secondly, Keenan Allen being healthy is a cheat code beyond like anyone would ever comprehend. Like, we know he's good. I don't think he's supposed to be this good at this age.
No, everyone projected a fall off. He's 30 years old now. No one expected him to do what he can do.
Yeah.
And he's still just an absolute animal in the field.
I love everything about what the Chargers are. And I know we're from LA, but like the Chargers still kind of feel like an ugly step cousin type of team.
In my mind, mentally, they're still the San Diego team.
They'll always be San Diego.
And it's hard to say that because like they are in LA. Like I've gone to go see them at SoFi.
Yeah, like it's a gross thing. Do you have anything about the Vikings?
Vikings, it just felt like all their luck from last season is just reversed. All their like close one-score games just not there anymore. Kirk was getting lit up a lot, and I think that seems like the tone this season. If he's in the pocket and he's able to stand upright, I think that's the second most explosive offense in the league, in my opinion. But you just got to keep them upright, and they did not do a good job. It's going to be tough
for them this year. They play like legit defenses. Look, the Vikings, I didn't expect them to be 0-3. I thought they'd be competing in this division. I didn't have them making the playoffs this year, but Justin Jefferson is so good by himself. It's actually
he could
ridiculous.
Carry the team. He's carrying the team through these last few weeks.
And like all you need is like KJ Osborne to like do a couple things, and like TJ Hawkinson to do his thing, and then like Addison to just give Justin Jefferson a little bit of space.
Yeah.
I do think this team can if out of all 0-3 teams, this is my team to somehow make it into the wild card.
Well, the stat that I was reading was 75% of teams who start 0-3 do not make playoffs at all. This is one of those teams that would fit into that 25 who do. it wouldn't shock me. They're going to get bounced in the wild card, but it wouldn't be surprising to see them make it.
Do you have
weekend.
Do you have anything else on this game?
Honestly, this is just a fun game to watch.
I missed the over by a point because Kirk Cousins. First off, T.J. Hawkinson popping that ball up and then it going through three guys' hands for an interception to lose the over and meet the spread.
It just felt justified considering what this game was. Like, it just felt like, oh, great, crazy ending to just mess with everyone. Love it.
Bills Commanders. So the Bills just like.
This felt demoralizing.
So, like, the Commanders were like a fun, like, Sam Howell, this is like a good offense. We might have finally found our quarterback. And then, like, Josh Allen's like, oh, remember when everybody was talking, all that crud about me earlier in the season? Well, here you go. And he just, like, dog stomped on this team.
See, Allen didn't impress me to that level. Oh, like, he played well. He played well, but it wasn't oh, yeah, I'm fighting for an MVP. I'm going bananas. It was, I'm just going to manage. And my defense is just going to wreck you. I'm going to do enough where we're just going to secure a win, and then we'll get off the field.
Turns out when you don't just hyper-target Stephon Diggs every offensive snap and you can get the ball to your other playmakers, the offense opens up all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it feels like the defense set that tone where Allen wasn't stressed, he wasn't pressured, and that allowed him to see the field more clearly.
I think the Bills playing at home, also the Bills like non-primetime games are so good, like that, because I guess you don't see them as much. You just see them pop up on Red Zone, and you're just like, oh, there's Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. Oh, Gabe Davis touchdown, and you just kind of forget until like you see them at the 1 o'clock or at the 5 o'clock slate, and you're like, oh man, Josh Allen doesn't look that good because he's the highlight master. He is Cam Newton embodied. Like, he just gives you all the highlights.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that I'm going to hurdle somebody and throw a 70-yard bomb in the same game.
I don't really have much for the Commanders besides, like, they might as well say Eric Bieniemy's already the head coach because they only show him on the sideline.
I mean, well, that's where the pressure's on right now. This was the test for Bieniemy to see if he could succeed in an offense outside of Andy Reid. My opinion, he's not doing terrible. It's a learning curve with a new young quarterback.
Yeah.
It's going to be up and down. It's going to be rocky. The first 2 weeks gave me highlights that I was like, okay, there is something for this team. Like Brian Robinson, if you look at his stat line, was not bad this game.
No,
it was everything through the air was shut down, but the run game was there.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a really good run-heavy team for the rest of the season.
And that I think they need to gear up in that manner.
I got the Saints-Packers as our next game.
Okay.
The Saints were winning 17-0. Derek Carr gets hurt. I hope he, is healthy and, gets
Injured
there.
shoulder might miss 3 weeks is what I saw.
Yeah, so it was Jameis time. And if you know anything about me, I'm a huge Jameis fan because what he does is just pure magic.
One of the best bakers in the league. His turnovers, mwah.
It's beautiful. And
it's great to watch.
Ever since he got the LASIK, he's kind of gone to a new meme mode where he knows he's just this Ryan Fitzpatrick, energy that he is. He got into the game and he just started cooking. Just picks here, there, errant throws, just like missing wide receivers by like 3 yards, just not even knowing the offensive play. It was prime time Jameis, and I was so excited to see it. I loved every second of it.
Well, this was his first time seeing the field, I think, since 2021.
He played a little bit last year.
He played a little bit last year, but more just in between play. I don't think he played as long as he did.
Played in the beginning of the year, and then he got sat, and then Andy Dalton played the rest of the year.
There we go. But I think this team still has a lot of upside with Shaheed and Olave. Jameis will get to them on the deeper
Mike
routes.
Thomas.
Well, because Jameis doesn't throw the underneath as much as the deep ball.
You're also forgetting the ghost of Jimmy Graham, who also scored.
No, good for Jimmy Graham. He's actually very young. He's younger than Adam Thielen.
Shut up. Jimmy Graham is younger.
I'll double check this. But Jimmy Graham.
If you asked me right now how old Jimmy Graham was, I would tell you he's 38 years old. Let me go to the Packers while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
Jordan Love's good. Like, Jordan Love has a legit arm. I think with
36.
30. I said 38. So I mean, like, that's shockingly young. It's shockingly young,
but it's only 3 years older than Kelce.
Whoa.
3 years older than Kelce. 2 years older than Gronk.
He got traded to the Seahawks in like 2013, 2012, and he was already on the Saints for a couple years. Wow.
Yeah, he's made a career.
Wow, what a dog. The Packers, I like Jordan Love. I like what I'm saying. That offense can only do so much. They did end up pulling out the win, but without Aaron Jones and without Christian Watson, who are by far their most like productive and elite offensive weapons, that offense can only go so far.
No, the offense very much felt stagnant in my mind until Carr went out. Yeah. Then they were able to pounce on it. Then they were able to really find their footing.
Jameis Winston does that to people.
Yeah,
gives you that energy.
He gives you that confidence.
Makes you want to eat that W.
But this worried me for Green Bay a little bit. If they face a real tough defense, how is Love going to hold up?
On a scale from 1 to 10, how much are you looking like? How do you like Jordan Love going forward?
No, I do like Jordan Love. Okay. I think that he will improve. This is his first season starting. A lot of hope for the kid because he's not making mistakes.
Would
he's
you
not
rather
doing
have
anything terrible?
Jordan Love or Desmond Ridder going forward?
Oh, Jordan Love. Jordan Love has a lot better ceiling.
Would you rather have Jordan Love or Justin Fields going forward?
I think it depends on your team and your weapons. For the Packers right now, I'd rather Love. If I
put them both on the New York Jets right now.
On the Jets, I would still take Love. I would still take Love in that case. I think Fields would be great on a team where, like, basically the Bears setup or like the Cardinals, where you only have really one receiver.
One more. Would you rather have Jordan Love or Mac Jones? Because I would rather have Jordan Love.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jordan. I think Jordan Love has a better. Mac Jones is the better floor.
Yeah,
but not by much. And Love has a very much higher ceiling in my mind right now.
My favorite game of the week: Colts versus Ravens. Don, we haven't talked about this.
No,
game.
we have not. We have avoided this conversation.
You can start. Before you start, I wrote a list of excuses, and we're gonna play a game at home called Excuses Bingo, and we're gonna see how many Don hits today.
All right,
you have the floor.
Well, okay. In my mind, it was a gross game. This was an absolute gross game. Tucker missing a 51-yarder was unexpected.
Okay, so
that was very.
We're gonna take a pause there.
Sure.
Immediately after Justin Tucker loses that game, I went online and bought an Adam Vinatieri jersey for you. I got it in XL, so that way you can see what a real clutch kicker feels like and looks like.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But and speaking of kickers, Matt Gay won that game for you guys.
Yeah, we called the Gay game.
Absolutely, just killed it. I think what was it? NFL record 4 field goals from over 50 yards.
Yeah,
that's where they lived on. Yeah. Moss was efficient on the ground.
He's way. If this Zach Moss was in Buffalo when they needed him, he would still be there.
Oh, 100%. I don't know where this gear has come out of on his run game, but it's there and it's working well.
It's not Zach Moss. It's the offensive line. Something happened. They're one of the best offensive lines blocking against linebackers and D linemen. Apparently against safeties, they can't do anything.
No, Hamilton ate Minshew alive.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But it wasn't enough there. Lamar didn't worry me in this game.
Yeah.
202 through the air, 101 on the ground.
It
felt like the
Lamar plays aren't there. I know he had 2 rushing touchdowns. You're like, what do you mean that's Lamar? But like, was there ever a point where you're like, whoa, that was a throw Lamar only could make? I didn't get that.
Well, we were okay. So Bateman did go out later in the game. OBJ was gone, so
two.
No, I'm not blaming it on this. I'm not blaming the loss here on this. I'm just saying
I'm waiting for the big one.
No, honestly, the big one was Gus going down. In my mind, that completely flipped the game script.
I think what flipped
because then we had to go rely on Kenyon Drake, who fumbled immediately, and then Melvin Gordon.
So the Kenyon Drake, is he still on the roster?
He's on it. We
bumped him back down.
Yeah, we bumped Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake back to the practice squad, and then we're waiting to see if Justice Hill
is probably going to play, and they're waiting for the rookie, Caton or something like that.
He's still in the practice squad right now.
Jeez.
We haven't bumped him up. And then we're waiting to see Gus Edwards go through the concussion.
Gardner Minshew impressed me. He did just enough to do what he needed to do.
Yeah. He pulled he gives that kind of I'm going to just show heart and grit the entire game. Respect to him.
Did not expect to win this game. -8.5 is like a huge number that I didn't expect to ever cover. I bet the Ravens.
I think where the Ravens lost this game in my mind, Linderbaum out, Stanley out, and that Colts defensive line is real.
So that's what I'm ready to tie into.
On that.
I'm not ready to say that the Colts are a playoff team. AFC stacked. It's way too early to tell, and we're about to start a rookie quarterback who hasn't finished a game. I mean, that's just where we're at. He has not finished a game. I love him. Hasn't finished a game.
We need to see a full.
That Colts offense and defensive line playing at this level against real opponents.
That's going to make you guys in every single game. You guys will compete.
We are second in the league in sacks. We have the most tackles for losses, most forced fumbles. It's a legit defense. I didn't know Gus Bradley never cooked this up in Las Vegas. Never once. The Raiders have never looked this good. Yep. I don't know what happened. I love what I'm seeing. This is a different Colts team that I'm used to, and I'm so excited for the future because I'm not expecting anything this year. But we are the number one in the division. Jot that down.
Oh yeah, you guys are technically.
Yeah.
That's wild. I just see this as a scratch game for the Ravens. Just get healthy and we'll get better next week. I'm not worried about it.
I'm so excited for them next week. We'll talk about that later. Let's move on to the Titans versus the Browns. Look, Red Zone didn't want to show me this game, and I'm on the quad box on YouTube TV. So I'll be honest with you. I only get so you know how you get highlights on players like when they do good?
Yeah.
I only get lowlights for Derrick Henry. So like I'll get alerts on my
That was the issue. He wasn't on the field.
Yeah, so like my phone was stopped ringing and I was like, wow, what's going on with this Titans game? And I would just look and I'm like, Deshaun Watson is just tearing apart. What happened? Deshaun Watson just like good again?
No, the Browns, Jerome Ford got stuffed.
Yeah.
He had 2 rushing touchdowns, but he had less than 2 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just looked terrible out there.
Titans defensive line is also good.
Yeah, the Titans,
like Simmons is great.
Vrabel's able to dial up a decent defense typically.
Yeah.
Like no matter who he has out there. So it was all on Watson, just making the most insane throws he could. And it was easy when Derrick Henry's not on the field and Tannehill looked bad.
Yeah, he's awful.
He looked bad. But this is what worried me about the Titans. First nine plays the Titans offense went out and executed. 7 of them were passes. That is not the Titans' MO. That is not how they operate.
Trying to get that Hopkins money.
I think they were worried about Myles Garrett.
I mean, Myles Garrett.
And you should be worried. That is justified.
Worried about him all the time.
But 7 passing plays for the first 9. Yeah. That's not the Titans' MO, and they just got off script and just could not find their footing at all in this game.
The Browns.
Worried about them.
We'll talk about them later, but the Browns are just I think they're going to be a team that's just up and down all year, and they're going to somehow stumble their way into the playoffs, and we're going to watch it just happen before our eyes.
I think they're going to live on that defensive line. And then if Watson is able to stay upright, he'll make a few crazy throws.
Yeah.
But if he faces any tough defense, I think he crumbles.
Let's go Titans versus Jaguars, battle in the division. I am scared because CJ Stroud looks good.
CJ Stroud looks great. He's rookie of the year.
Bijan Robinson.
I think he beats out Bijan.
Right,
as of right now.
He does.
As of right now, he beats out Bijan.
Anthony Richardson has tons of weeks to somehow beat him.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we're to give it a award 1/6 of the way through the season, Stroud has it.
Yeah.
In the bag.
I've kind of talked about it earlier. I've been on the soapbox of I think Trevor Lawrence is way more Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins than he really is Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
We were very questionable of him coming out in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, not even like coming out of the draft. Like I've seen him play. I think he does well, but he's also surrounded by elite weapons. A really good offensive play caller in his head coach with Doug. I think he's good. I think he's just serviceable, and I'm tired of getting crucified over that. But a really good quarterback would have won this game. A really good quarterback would have scored more than 6 points last week against the Chiefs.
No, he missed he missed a lot of errant throws.
Yeah,
a lot to Ridley that just did not sync up.
Yeah,
he has not taken that step forward that everyone expected him to this year.
A lot of people were betting him for MVP this year,
and I understood why with the offseason hype, but just right now. Everyone was praising him to be the next Andrew Luck, and I like your comparisons more. He's going to be fine, but he's not going to be the player that could take over a game.
I think he's like a number 8 overall, like in the league quarterback, which is really good,
which is great. But he's not Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. He's not those guys. He's not there.
Patriots versus Jets. I want this to be the quickest review. This game sucks. This is the antithesis of games I like to watch. Mac Jones did enough, and I'm tired of watching the Patriots and Jets play.
That's just how the Patriots work. I think it's just their defense is going to have it where Mac Jones only needs to do enough The Ezekiel Elliott looked good on the ground. Ramondre looked good on the ground in my mind.
Ramondre's playing a lot. I mean, he didn't do great, but like, dude, do you ever just watch, like, your dad's a Patriots fan, so you kind of know what it's like to watch the Patriots?
Yep.
I just get tired of it. I'm just like, maybe it's because they've been shoved down our throats for like the past 20 years that I'm just like, I could just not watch you guys for like another 5. I don't know, man.
It's just because the team is always relevant. That's the hard part.
Yeah,
even this is the lowest we've
spot.
seen them in a decade, in 2 decades.
Do you think Billy still got it in him?
Easily he does.
Okay. You still think he's the best head coach in the NFL?
I don't know if he's the best head coach anymore. I think the game has evolved to a point of creativity on offense that he can't match at the moment.
Old man can't keep up. I get you. Put him in the home.
But on defense, I still think he's one of the masterminds.
All right.
Like, he knows how to frustrate people.
Your favorite game of the week, the Broncos versus Dolphins. Donovan, 70-20. Buddy, what happened?
Honestly, I think someone on the Broncos needs to get fired. Someone on the Broncos needs to be fired at the end of this week. In my mind, I think it needs to be Russ. I honestly do 100% believe Russell Wilson needs to be gone. But somebody needs...
The contract is so bad. His new contract money hasn't even kicked in yet. It starts next year.
Yeah.
Like, they're so... They have to play with Russ. It sounds like Sean Payton
Ship him to the Jets. Ship him to the Jets.
They can't. They can't afford him. There's nothing you can do with Russell Wilson. He has to retire.
Yeah, and he won't. That's the thing. And the Broncos are handcuffed until then.
Mr. Unlimited Money Bags over there. The Dolphins... shout out to Donovan Behan for believing in Raheem Mostert for like 4 straight weeks.
Just let it ride.
Yeah,
just let him ride.
Mike McDaniel, is he like just an offensive genius, or is it just like, I got guys, let me just go play backyard football?
I think it's more the backyard football. When you have Tyreek Hill, who's just an absolute game breaker.
Yeah,
like even on just put him on any crossing route, and I doubt 95% of the league will cover him.
I think we're bearing the lead with MVP Tua, because MVP Tua is playing at such a high level that I'm like, wow, what are we doing? This is a guy that I think if we would have ranked our top 5 AFC quarterbacks coming into the season, would you have put him on your list?
I would have put him at 7, personally.
AFC. Behind Rodgers, because I agree.
Behind Rodgers, Lamar, Allen, Mahomes. I would have put him behind Burrow and
Kenny Pickett.
Lawrence. Not Pickett.
You love Kenny Pickett.
Oh, get out of here.
I'm kidding.
Kenny's too small hands. But, no, honestly, Tua, I think the reason no one ranks him as high and gives him that same level of respect is you're worried about the injury. You're worried about the next hit that he's going to take. And I think that makes a lot of people apprehensive to jump on going, he's the guy.
Well, ever since he got his arm sleeve tattoo, he's just like a new guy. He's like unlocked secret powers, and I love everything about it. Let's move on to the next game. It's Panthers versus Seahawks. This was like the best game of the afternoon slate because like it was the only thing that didn't like that. It was the only thing that was kind of competitive. The only notes I had about this game was like, Andy Dalton is so much fun to watch. Like when he's coming in to be a backup. I'm starting to go with like the maybe Bryce Young should sit for a year. I was kind of like already starting to cook up a take of like maybe Bryce Young's not the guy.
I think he's gonna be the guy, but when you can learn from a guy like Dalton,
I think
who's been through the ups and downs of the league, has done very successful. He still has a winning record as a starting quarterback.
Yeah,
very successful, and that's coming out of a guy who saw him play for most of his career.
Yeah, those famous Joe Flacco versus Andy Dalton games,
just absolute bangers.
Yeah,
but I think that's the best spot for him to learn is just sit behind Dalton for a season and just pick up the knowledge because Dalton. He doesn't make mistakes. That's the biggest issue with him.
He does enough.
He does enough, and he won't turn the ball over. He does fine.
I've been preaching the Geno Smith regression year, and there was a moment in the game where it's like a clip flying around of like Geno walks up to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he's like, "You're the best. You got this. Any mistake you made, that was my fault. It was never on you." And he says something like that, and I was like, "Well, I'm back in. I hope Geno wins MVP." It just happened. It was in that moment where I was like, dang it, I like this guy again.
Because that's what a leader should do. That's the best thing a leader should do.
You could see Jackson Smith and Jigba like perk up and he like turns to the lock and he's like, "You got this too." Like he's a guy that I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna work my butt off for this guy.
Yeah, because he wants to be in there with you.
Yeah.
He wants to be in the trenches. I am worried about the coaching of the Panthers a little bit.
Yeah,
just 7 false starts in one game. That's a coaching issue. That's a coaching issue at that point.
Cowboys versus Cardinals. Don, the Cardinals might not be the worst team in the league. Apparently, Josh Dobbs has got some fight left in him, something that the Steelers were really hoping when they had to start him a few years ago. Just kind of a dog?
I think Dobbs is just doing what he can at the moment. I think it was more the Cowboys getting their own way. 5 trips to the red zone, only 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
They had, 13 penalties on defense.
So many penalties. Do you think the Trayvon Diggs injury has affected them way more than they expected?
Oh, I completely agree. Because Trayvon Diggs, I think, was a leader on that defense.
I think
even if he wasn't the guy every down, he was one of those captains.
He's also a presence of does he get beaten coverage sometimes? Absolutely. What corner doesn't? And I know he's given up a bunch of yards, but he's also, say what you want, one of the best ball hawking corners in the league.
Oh, he's a playmaker.
And that does change how an offense runs. That's just the truth. Stephon Gilmore's still a very good corner on the end. We know he can still play at a high level, but this does change the Dallas Cowboys defense a bit.
It does.
Not a great.
I mean, they gave up 222 rushing yards in this game.
Awful.
It's just terrible. And then they were missing 3 O-line starters. I think that did trip the 2 Pro Bowlers out of that group. I think the Cardinals defense showed up more than anything, and they just didn't make any big mistakes. And that's how the Cowboys beat you, is they let you make the mistake.
Bears versus Chiefs. Don, it happened to me again. I got suckered in. It was in the middle of the week. I was like, Justin Fields might be the guy. He's going to get loose. The Bears' whole franchise, they got robbed. Their defensive coordinator, disappeared. No one knows what's happening with that. And none of that mattered because Mom herself showed up to the game.
Oh, God.
And
I'll let you get on your soapbox there. That's fine.
I'm a Taylor Swift guy. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm a Swiftie, but I like what she represents, and that's making people go crazy. And I'm here for that. I'm here for that. And Travis Kelce also makes the people go crazy. You put them together, and it's the happiest thing I've ever had. It was awesome.
Out of all games for Taylor Swift to be covered on, this was the best because there was very little going on the field for the Bears. So it was easy just to pan up. I mean, the Chiefs' defense is real.
Yeah.
11 first downs given up the entire game. Mm-hmm. That's nothing.
It's nothing.
No, at all. And Fields looks bad.
Yeah.
Fields looks bad. The Bears just look bad.
So I have a statement from our resident Bears fan who wants to be anonymous. It's a friend. We both know him. I asked him today I asked him a few questions. I asked him, how are you doing? He said, awful. He said, watching football has never made me more disappointed, made me more sad. I asked him, is there any world where you stop being a fan? Nope. Not unless something crazy comes out about the Bears. I don't know. I don't think I can keep doing this, though. And that's where the Bears fans are at.
It feels like it. Fields looks nervous to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He looked very skittish, was making his throws late. He had the right read oftentimes, but just was not confident in his passing. And I think that's a result of the play calling.
Yeah.
Find what his best weapon is, which is his legs. Let him go make a play.
And he
Let him go adapt.
He would do it for a few seconds, and then it would just end.
Because I think it felt like I'm not supposed to be doing this, and pulled back. It's like, let him go be him.
Steelers versus Raiders. Look, I bet the Raiders in this game. I don't know why he did it. Jimmy Garoppolo might be awful. Might just be bad. And it turns out when you don't have Kyle Shanahan calling plays for you, you might not be that relevant. Josh Jacobs just completely imploded.
He's disappeared.
He's just gone. He doesn't make sense anymore. And Kenny Pickett, 2 touchdowns. They finally happened. Good for him.
Yeah, good.
For the young guy.
I mean, it's easy to do when you have TJ Watt.
Talk about Kenny Pickett like you talk about Kenny Pickett off the mic. I want you to be honest about how you feel about Kenny Pickett.
Honestly?
Yes.
I think Steelers go losing record this season. I think that they buck the Mike Tomlin trend.
Okay.
And if it happens this season and one more, which I think it will, Pickett's gone. He is not the quarterback for this team.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny Pickett, if he's bad for another 2 seasons, he's gone. That's
not a hot take, but I don't think he's the guy in any scenario.
You don't like Kenny Pickett right now, and you don't think he's going to be good.
I don't. I think this is the best we'll see out of him.
Oh, wow.
I think what we're seeing right now is the best we'll see out of Pickett.
I mean, Steelers offense, Najee Harris is still the slowest man to ever touch a football, and I there's nothing that could
He's a
convince me
bowling
more.
ball. I think the biggest hit was Deontay going out for this team.
Yeah.
They needed that. They needed that secure weapon on the outside.
He might be back in a few weeks, and we'll see how that goes. Eagles versus Bucks. I expected this game to be a little bit closer. It was kind of a defensive battle in the beginning, but at the end of the day, the most illegal play that should be banned in all of football helped them win a game, and that's the QB.
The two tight ends on the back and just throw Hurts over the line.
Push play. I mean, I get it.
The Bucks were able to stop it twice during the game. It's just because you saw linebackers getting airborne and trying to land on top of everyone.
Yeah.
And that's just dangerous. It's really going to take one injury that way, and I think the NFL will ban it.
DeAndre Swift's running lanes are so wide open that the classic conversation of could you run for 30 yards behind that offensive line this is the only time where I've actually felt like I could do it.
Yeah.
I could get 5 behind that offensive line. Dude, he was going 10 without being touched.
Yeah. No, that O-line is amazing. Hurts still inaccurate so far through 3 weeks. They're living on the ground game, so that makes me worried. If a team could finally figure out that O-line, Eagles are in trouble, but they're just too skilled at the moment.
But it's crazy to think this is probably the worst Eagles we're going to get.
If Hurts,
that's scary.
Yeah, that is, because this is a one-dimensional Eagles team at the moment.
Right now. But that one dimension is insane.
Yeah, they have such a high ceiling.
The Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield just fell apart. Mike Evans is still good. And that's pretty much it for the Buccaneers. Oh, their defense is very good, but when they play that long on the field, they
just look gassed. At halftime, they just looked out of energy.
Yeah. And Baker couldn't sustain any drives because Baker playing down by 10 or 14 is just the worst Baker Mayfield you'll ever watch.
No, he overthinks. He's trying to make too much happen at once. He needs to be able to run the ball.
He needs to be able to run
Rashad
the ball.
White isn't it. Bring in Sean Tucker already.
Is that because you own some Sean Tucker fantasy football stock?
I do, because I didn't believe in I didn't believe in Rashad White from week 1.
Yeah,
that's why. It's just he's not efficient. He's not the guy. You need at least someone who could get 2.5 yards carry.
Yeah,
at least.
Last game that we're going to cover is the Rams versus Bengals. Look. This was the Joe Burrow calf injury game. I get it. But at some point, we got to look at this head coach and be like, this is definitely him. Let's just cut him loose. Let's go get a fun, more exciting, inventive offensive coordinator to put around Joe Burrow.
They did switch it up a little bit this game.
Yeah, they ran the ball.
Well, they put Jamar Chase in the slot.
Yeah,
who knew moving your number one receiver and treating him like Cooper Kupp in the slot would be effective?
Yeah, he's so good. It turns out every owner that drafted him in with the first or second pick because he was so high, finally they're like, this is what we wanted, this is what we need, and I hope they continue to do it this way.
I hope so as well. I don't know if they will.
I don't think so either.
Because who knows if Burrow's going to have enough time. Getting the short passes works. That's not going to win you games. Only one touchdown and in an entire game for a team that should be as explosive as the Bengals are on paper is just not cutting it.
The Rams, going into the season, I had as the worst team. I thought they were going to finish last. They surprised me in week 1, but after all of this, I'm back on the train. I think the Rams are going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
I think bottom 5. Yeah.
I think their offensive line is that bad. I don't think Matthew Stafford's bad. I just think Matthew Stafford's old.
And he just needs time.
And
that's the biggest thing. He's
going
to get hit.
Looks great. Kyron's getting a ton of targets. It's just they have no time to get to him.
Yeah. Stafford's throwing the ball before he turns half the time because he's just getting lit up.
But man, Aaron Donald is still top 5 defensive player in the league, and that's just mind-blowing to me.
If the Rams, because the Rams to me at this point through 3 weeks don't really have a shot at playoffs at all.
Probably, I mean, it's the NFC, so anything's possible in the NFC.
If they drop 2 more in the next 3 weeks.
Probably, and they play the Colts next week.
So, well, in my mind, what I would do if I'm the Rams, start shopping Donald.
No, they can't.
I know they can't for fandom, and I know they can't for a lot of contract reasons, but
I think
they don't have a lot of picks coming. They don't have a lot of picks for the next few years.
So they get their picks next year. They're back. They're back to having a first rounder next year, and a second rounder, and then the rest of it is a little murky.
But you got to treat this like a full rebuild.
Yeah,
you have to look at this team and go, we need to rebuild it. We have 2 star players that basically are in their last 2 years, maybe 3 years in the league.
I would say Cooper Kupp's also in there too.
No, that's what I'm putting is Cooper Kupp.
And Stafford.
I don't think Stafford's going to leave at this point because
I don't think he's got much left in him, though.
He doesn't have much left in him. He loves living in L.A. because he gets to be close to the Dodgers and his friends on the team.
Yeah.
But I think Darnold and Kupp, shop them around a little, if with their permission, because they both have earned that right to say yes or no. Shop them and go get picks. Let them go get a ring. Let them go ring chase, which they deserve. No, but they deserve more. Let them go chase. Let them go be Von Miller.
I don't think that they should do that. I think living and dying in LA and where we live, fans treat you well. There's not a ton of pressure to succeed in the LA fandom world.
You could flip them to the Chargers.
I don't think you could. Maybe. I wouldn't pay a first round pick, and that's what they're worth. Let's move on to busts of the week. Don, I got a bust of the week. It is Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton and Nathaniel Hackett are doing the Spider-Man meme to each other right now. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Nathaniel Hackett's like, it's not that easy, is it? Russell Wilson's not that fun to scheme up, is it?
Well, okay. Sean Payton pulled the ultimate and against coach's code move in the beginning of the season.
It's not my fault, it's yours.
It's not my fault. You messed up so badly. It's going to take years for me to fix this.
Which is, and I want to be honest, the exact thing I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hedging your bet.
Yeah.
You're hedging your bet. I understand that.
Don,
but it's hard for this team to scheme. I feel so bad.
What's your bust of the week?
My bust of the week is the Cowboys. Just
the entire Cowboys roster.
The entire Cowboys roster. Dak worries me.
You're not a Dak guy, though.
I've never been a huge Dak guy, but he doesn't look like the guy at the moment. His pass is just, they're relying on the run game and their defense. That's what's going to win them games.
I mean, that defense is insane.
But when that defense doesn't show up or confuses itself, trips over.
Yeah. It's not a great spot to be.
It's just an ugly game.
I think that's why they built the team this way, where they're like, let's try to not rely on Dak as much as we can. You know, have him do as much as we believe in him to do and just run and play defense, which is a great way to, get to the NFC Championship and lose.
Yeah, and that might end up happening here. Just they looked bad.
Don, Gold Star. This is your Gold Star. We're going to give him a little sticker when you see him in real life. Who's your Gold Star player of the week?
My Gold Star is McDaniels. Like, honestly, it's hard not to.
So
like,
we're
putting up 70.
Vibe,
yeah, we're same vibe there. Just, and the Dolphins team, just, like, he basically ran it. Devon A-Chain just as a backup, taking as much of the spotlight as he could with the time he had.
Do you like him in fantasy? Would you go get Devon A-Chain? A-Chain?
A-Chain.
A-Chain?
A-Chain.
He just changed his name. 18.
No,
I swear he changed his name to something else.
He changed his name?
Yeah, it's not A-Chain. It's like A-Tain or something like that. Okay. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll look at it later.
Yeah.
But I think he's worth a flex spot if your league does flex, especially in a half PPR,
60-point
full
flex
PPR.
spot? I would love that.
Because, well, I don't know if it's going to continue that way.
Gotcha.
That's the thing, is A-Chain is a very small-framed guy. Mostert is still the lead back in these situations. They just pulled Mostert out early.
All right, my Gold Star is I have a double, but they're like together. They're together. It's Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. You guys both get a Gold Star. You guys can share it at the restaurant. You guys rent it out. Or, the cool little car you guys grease lightninged into the sunset. I love everything about this. I do like Travis Kelce. I don't think he's corny. Like I said, I like Taylor Swift. And I think them kind of just lighting the NFL and the entire, music scene on fire together has been a storyline that the script writers for the NFL blew out of the water this year. They did a great job with this one. I can't wait for week 8 when we find out they break up and then Travis Kelce goes through oh, is he depressed? Is he ever going to get back to his old self? Oh no, and then that's when he drops the 3 touchdown game because we know it's coming.
Yeah, he's going to get one this season. He always does.
Let's move on. So, Don, we're going to move on to rank 'em. We're going to do rank 'em, and we do a new rank every single week, our top 5. This week, since it's so apparent, I want to talk about the top 5 backup quarterbacks you would want on your hypothetical roster right now. Your starting quarterback goes down. Out of these guys, give me your list. Who are the guys you want to see step up? Or you'd feel confident stepping up? Let's start at 5.
Okay. 5 for me, Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke.
12-1 as a 12-1 as a starter. he has that grit. He has the effort that could bring a team up around him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you need a lot of the times when you're looking at a backup quarterback. There's two roles it fits in my mind. You generally need just a steady hand veteran, or you need a guy that's going to play harder than anyone else on the team and get the team to rally behind him. Heineke brings that, and he is a very athletic person where he could come in cold and make some plays.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
I have him at 6. I have Blaine Gabbert and him as an honorable mention. My number 5 is a guy who just beat the Baltimore Ravens. I have Gardner Minshew. You can give me all the stats about him not being a productive winner and maybe being the worst starting quarterback to play over 20 games, because I think he has one of those stats. But if my quarterback goes down, and if you told me you get Mitchell Trubisky or Gardner Minshew, I'm picking Gardner Minshew every single time.
I think him and Heineke fall into that same category a little bit of just off the wall kind of grit guys.
I just believe in Gardner Minshew's like spunkiness, like he's got like that it factor that you want from a backup. That's like, I can do it, coach, put me in. And then he like gives you like 2 throws to Zach Moss in the end zone. You're like, good job, buddy, to go out there and get sacked for 19 yards. Like that's what he's good for. I'm gonna go with my number 4. It's Marcus Mariota for the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Okay.
I think we're gonna get into the little like, oh, maybe they could start on the Jets right now, like language.
These are the guys that are in that conversation.
I've been a Marcus Mariota fan since Oregon. I think everybody was. I have the playoff ticket of the very first playoff game where it was Marcus Mariota versus Jameis Winston. I was a huge, like, everyone was when they were younger. Like, everybody wanted to see the Oregon Ducks because their offense was insane.
Yeah.
But I've been rooting for Marcus Mariota in the shadows for a long time, and I still continue to root for him here.
See, my number 4 played opposite of Mariota. It is Jameis Winston there.
That's crazy to me.
No, I think Winston, he's a quality backup. In 2021, he only threw 14 touchdowns to 3 interceptions across 7 games.
Yeah.
That's a great pace. He has calmed down with the interceptions a lot. I mean, last game, he came in cold. But
that's what he does.
That's what he does.
He went 30 for 30, Don. He threw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. This is what he does.
No, but he's calmed down. I think he's taken less shots down the field and a little bit more control. Like, just not by much, but at least a little bit compared to where he used to be. And he is a very experienced, successful quarterback as a starter. He's able to elevate the team. He's gonna punish you.
Okay.
With the interceptions, but he's able to elevate your weapons around you.
Lamar twists his ankle. He's out for the rest of the game. You rather see Jameis Winston run on that field over Marcus Mariota?
I think that's more of a scheme fit issue at that point.
That's not what I asked.
No, I think that's more of a scheme issue. But I think that Mariota will be good at, I'm just going to keep the ball close to the line of scrimmage and I won't make a mistake.
Okay.
He's not going to be your ceiling play guy.
Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is going to be Andy Dalton.
Okay. My number 3 is also Andy Dalton.
There we go. Like,
let's just gush about Andy Dalton. We already kind of did. Red Rifle.
He just doesn't make mistakes. He's that veteran. As a backup, this is different realm than everyone else. This is the backup I want with a young quarterback.
He is the prototypical backup that I want on every team.
Yes, because he is going to teach your guys.
Yeah.
He's going to break down film like on the bench better than almost any other backup in the league.
And if something happens, he's there. He's ready to play.
And he's done it before. He's proven he's able to do it multiple times. And he doesn't mind working with, at least from what we've seen, what the reports have come out, he doesn't mind working with other quarterbacks. He's there to make the team better and elevate everyone around him.
I love it. I'm pretty sure we're going to be around the same 2 and 1. My 2 is Tyler Huntley.
And my 2, he's my number 1.
Okay.
But that's more of, again, it's scheme fit issue. I'm thinking from my perspective.
So let's talk about Tyler Huntley, the only Pro Bowl quarterback that's on that we're talking about. I do think Tyler Huntley's like, he does what you need him to do. Yeah. He plays the scheme. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't ever do anything that make you go, wow, that was great, though. And that's where I'm like, he's number 2. There's no world where I see Tyler Huntley going on any roster and competing for the starting job.
No, I don't see him competing for a starting role oftentimes. But he is, I think, an elevated version of Heineke, where he's athletic and he's able to go and make the play. But then he's a safe bet where he's not going to give you a lot of turnovers. He's not going to crush your team by making the errant throws.
And this is your number 1.
This is my number 1.
What's your number 2? My number 1
is Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Who I've loved since like the New England days, went to Indianapolis. I lied to myself, and I was like, this guy could take us to a Super Bowl. Jacoby Brissett, he won an Arrowhead, and I just had to eat it that year. It was just, but I still do believe Jacoby Brissett's going to play in the league for another 6 years, and every team he goes to, they're going to be like, he could start week 1, and he might. He's the guy that when I see him, he's going to start. I'm not like, oh, this team's 100% dead.
He's the Ryan Fitzpatrick in my mind because he's able to go and get the job done. He does do some boneheaded moves occasionally, but it's rare to see.
But he fits into every scheme. And he does it perfectly.
Last season for the Browns, 2,608 passing yards and 12 touchdowns over 11 games.
I love it.
And
that's what you want from a backup.
That's what you want. Those are great numbers for a backup that has to start that long.
Yeah, Don, we're gonna go through predict the future. We're gonna go through it quick. We're gonna go through 5 games that we enjoy coming up this weekend. That we just want to talk about. Thursday Night Football, Lions at Packers. This is a division matchup. Kind of a huge game for who could win this division. Mm-hmm. I really want to pick the Packers.
See, I can't justify it. I like the Lions too much in this matchup.
I'm going with the Lions as well.
Yeah. History says Green Bay. Yeah. It's hard to say that it's not Green Bay.
What if I tell you they didn't play Aaron Jones or Christian Watson so that way they could play this week? They're expected to play. Does that change your mind?
Aaron Jones worries me. Watson not as much as Aaron Jones does.
They said they were both practicing last week and they both could have played, but they wanted to get a few more days for their hamstrings. I think if they do play, this game is closer. Yeah. Especially with Amon-Ra being a little banged up and no David Montgomery, it could put them in a bad spot. Plus, I can't really rely on I have it written right here, Lions. I talked myself into Packers. I talked myself into the Packers.
See, I like the Lions because the defense has stepped up in my mind. That's the biggest factor. They were able to shut down the number 1 rushing offense in the league.
Well, now number 8.
Now number 8. Yeah. But yeah, they were able to shut the Falcons down.
Yeah.
I think that gives them a lot of hope against Aaron Jones, and it's going to put the entire game on Love's arm. Love does have a better ceiling than Ritter, but I think Goff is able, if it comes out to we're just going to have to do a passing shootout, neither of us can run the ball super well.
Don't say that about Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be used, I think, as a better passing weapon than a rushing weapon.
I agree.
I think if it comes down to that, I think Goff wins that shootout, that kind of duel.
The London game, Falcons at Jaguars. Pip, pip, cheerio. Falcons are going to run all over this team. The Jaguars can't stop the run.
Jaguars on paper should win this.
Yeah, but I mean, paper gets thrown out the window when you go play in in England, not New England.
Yeah, this is also the Toy Story game.
That I lost, so I'll be having to watch the Toy Story feed of the game
on ESPN. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I
can't wait. That's at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. I get to watch. What?
Sunday morning cartoons.
Yeah,
just look at it as Sunday morning cartoons.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It'll be a good time. Don, so you're going Falcons or Jaguars? Be a man.
My gut says Falcons.
That's my boy.
And I hate it. I absolutely don't. So both these teams higher defensive upside than offensive in my mind at the moment. But I just don't trust Lawrence to get it done. The Falcons are going to just claim the clock.
Yeah.
They're going to just control everything in the field. And I just don't see Lawrence getting it done.
Desmond Ritter's playing his best Jacoby Brissett impression he can. And it's amazing. He's got 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 50 passing attempts in 3 games. And I'm like, come on, buddy, get out there, try a little harder.
Poor Ritter.
Next game, Dolphins at Bills. Look, the Dolphins just put up 70. The Bills just put up, I think, 33-0. They shut out the Commanders, or if the Commanders might have scored 1, I don't know. But
no, it was a full shutout
in Buffalo. This defense is way better than the Broncos. I think they're better than New England's defense, who held Miami to 21. Waddle's probably not going to play again. Give me the Bills. Give me the Bills.
I take the Bills on this, I think, mainly because of the home team.
We're locked in today, huh?
Well, but I love the Dolphins in this. The Dolphins, I think, will hang around because Tyreek Hill's just, if the Bills are going to prove to me they're the number 1 defense, they are the best defense, guard Hill.
Gotcha.
Go guard Hill. Shut him down. You have this game in the bag. Hill's going to break off for 2 good plays. Mostert and Achane will get the ground game moving. And I think Josh Allen makes one terrible mistake. At least one that gives the Dolphins hope.
I like it.
And that's what it's going to ride on, is if the Dolphins can execute on just a deep ball that Allen throws and it's going to be a pick, more than likely.
Patriots at Cowboys. We were, I would say we weren't like the kindest people to the Cowboys today. But what I will say is I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Patriots. I'm not super high on the Patriots this year. I know people are like, this offense has gotten better. Mac Jones, big year. You were talking about Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke, like, possibly being a fun little duo. I don't think so. I think this is a gross game. I think I might bet the under.
I think this is going to be a Cowboys win by 3 or 4.
I think it's like a 21-17 game.
Exactly. Something tight like that.
And like touchdowns don't happen until like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, because that's what the Patriots gear up for.
Yeah.
This is going to be just a defensive slugfest in my mind.
Picking, though?
I think Cowboys eke one out because talent rises. And I think that there's more talent on the Cowboys at the moment, but I think this is just going to be a gross game to watch. It's going to be a
Seahawks at Giants, Donovan.
Am I missing something?
Okay.
I feel like I'm missing something, right? How are the Giants favored?
I don't get it.
I don't understand. Because their pass rush is good, and the Seahawks are still missing their 2 offensive tackles.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think the Giants might be one of the worst teams in the league.
Number 6.
They're bad, though.
They're bad.
They
They're bad.
barely beat a bad Cardinals team. And I know now in hindsight, like, oh, they beat the Cowboys. But, like, the Cowboys dog stomped the Giants. The Cardinals, if they weren't visibly tanking,
Well, see, I don't know if the Cardinals are fully in the tank anymore.
Because you're a Kyler believer, and that's a whole other.
That'll be a debate for another time.
I don't get what the Giants are doing. This is going to play into our pray for the parlay later. I'm hammering the Seahawks heavy.
No, I'm taking it to the only way the Giants I see winning this game. Their pass rush has got to get to Geno and force them out of the red zone.
Yeah,
which not too difficult. The
also,
Seahawks
Jamal
have
Adams
struggled.
Game.
Jamal Adams return game. Seahawks have struggled in the red zone. I think the Giants are going to hold up well, but Danny needs to run the ball.
Absolutely.
Like it's up to Daniel Jones to run the ball. He's going to have to win this game with his feet. That's the only way they win.
All right, let's move to the last segment of our show. It is time for the Pick 6. We give you 6 of our best bets. Last week, if you rode with me, I'm very, very sorry. I went 1-6. That was very disappointing. Don, you went 4-2.
I believe so. Yeah, it was not a good week for us overall.
I mean, 4-2 is fan. I'll take 4-2 all day over 1-6.
No, I went 3-3 because I missed the Ravens and both overs. 3-3, so it was a rougher. It was a rougher week.
I bet on every NFL game and some over-unders. I think I ended up 20 overall bets on Sunday. I went exactly 10 for 10. It was
not
crazy.
bad.
That's awful. College, though, went 8 for 2. I'm going crazy in college.
Let's hear it then.
So I kind of dipped into college. We're going to deal
go.
I went Texas minus 16.5 against Kansas. I know it's like, oh, that's a square pick. I think Quentin Ewers is going to somehow get his way into the number 2 overall pick. He's got that fire in him. He's the number 1 scouted quarterback in high school football history. He's a dog. Give me him.
Okay. See, for me, just return to the game we just talked about. I'm taking Seahawks plus 1.5 against the Giants. And I feel like I'm missing something that Vegas is seeing.
Okay,
but
so we're either the smartest people in the world or walking into a buzzsaw.
And that's what scares me.
Do you think Saquon comes back?
I think Saquon is going to be back, but he is not going to be 100%.
I mean, that's fine.
That's going to be the issue, I think.
My next game is I'm going to go back to the NFL. I'm going with the Falcons-Jaguars over at 43.5. Look, I still don't believe that the Jaguars offense is good, but I do think they're going to turn it around a little bit, and I do think that they're going to let Desmond Ridder open up the passing game a little more. They're still, and when I say that, I'm not like, oh, he's going to throw a lot. I do think he can get to 2 passing touchdowns. I do think this offense is always poised for a rushing touchdown. I do think this 43.5 is an easy hit.
Okay. For me, I'm taking the Bengals minus 2.5 versus the Titans. And I think it's more the Titans just look that bad.
I can't bet on the Bengals right now. I can't. I bet the Rams, they covered. I can't bet on the Bengals on the simple fact of that's not Joe Burrow. That's another human being. That guy is not human. You know?
I think to me where my confidence is coming from is we just saw what the Bengals D-line did to the Rams. Mm-hmm. Stafford is, I think, a better quarterback than Tannehill at this time.
Yeah, I mean,
dude. And I think they're just going to feast on Tannehill. They've already...
Our broom closet's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill right now.
But it's not by much. But I think that it's just going to turn into, is this going to be Derrick Henry carrying the ball or not?
Yeah.
Titans last week showed that they're very quick to pull off of Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Tajay Spears time, baby. I have him in like every league. I'm just like waiting for the time to shine.
I just think the Bengals have this based on talent.
Don, I'm going to your team. We might have the same bet. I have the Ravens plus 2.5.
I'm not touching this game.
You suck.
No, I just think this is one of those games where it's like, oh, we won 20-21. Okay.
It's just like Ravens after a game that they should have won. I know it's a division rival, but you're giving me Lamar underdog plus points 2.5. They could lose by a field goal, but if you're putting a field goal bet on the line, I'm going against the guy who's the second best, most clutch kicker of all time, Justin Tucker.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I'll take it. I'll take it for the confidence in the team.
Yeah. Don, what's your next bet?
Mine is going to be the Vikings cover minus 3.5 versus the Panthers. Panthers might be another Dalton game. Vikings need to win this one. This is must win at this point.
Yeah, I think they can pull this one
off. I think they pull this off. Panthers showed last week.
Yeah.
Their offensive line isn't it, and their defense get exposed by great receivers.
I have the Buccaneers plus 3. I know you're kind of a Saints guy right now. I don't believe in Jameis Winston like others do. I love watching him play because of the beautiful disaster that he is. But I do believe that this Buccaneers defense is real. I think against his rival team, they know what to do against him. They're going to be really, really sharp on defense. Baker playing in a close game that I think could be like another 17-17 type game.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly.
Give me the plus points. I'll take the plus 3.
Yeah, I'm not too far. It's just the Saints defense. It's hard for me to bet against it, but I don't disagree on Baker being good in close games. My is going to be the Chiefs minus 9.5 versus the Jets. Chiefs somehow find a way to get it done and win these games. I think it's going to be more the Chiefs defense is just going to wreck Zach Wilson.
I think I'm going to bet on this one too. The Chiefs defense is better than people want to talk about.
No, Chris Jones coming back is just a revelation.
I'm going back to college. I have 2 college games. Now, last week I told you, hammer Oregon. I did say also hammer the over, but I did say hammer Oregon.
Yes.
What had happened?
Oh, that was
a blowout.
That was a terrible game.
Look at me. I love USC. Fight on. Colorado plus 21.5. USC can't. I stunned you. I know. Colorado
got me choking.
USC can't stop a nosebleed. USC couldn't stop your little nephew's running with the football. He'll get 5 yards. He'll get 5 yards for sure. I promise you, Colorado's going to cover this spread. I'm willing to put down a bet.
It's like, what are you putting on the line here? I'm curious.
I will wax one of my eyebrows if Colorado doesn't cover this spread.
All right. Lock it in.
Lock it in. My last game I'm going to do is LSU minus 2.5 versus Ole Miss. I think LSU is like a legit team. Ole Miss just came off a big loss, and usually I'll like take the points and the big loss team.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think LSU is going to win the SEC West to play Georgia in the championship game.
And then just get routed by Georgia.
Killed. Absolutely
murdered. Mine, I'm taking a very hard left-hand turn here. I'm betting the Ryder Cup. I'm taking Europe to win this one overall.
Ryder Cup is golf, for anyone that doesn't know.
No, I'm taking Europe to win this one. They have the home field advantage. They're 6-0 in their last matchups in Europe. They have two out of the 3, I think, arguably.
You're taking all of Europe?
Well, it's Europe versus U.S.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm taking the Europe versus U.S. prop. Europe should just
historically, how's that gone?
Europe is undefeated at home.
I'm talking about battles.
Oh my goodness!
Because I mean, at home, we go to Europe and we dominate.
Well, I mean, not for the cup, not for the Ryder Cup, but I think Europe. 2 out of the 3 best current players in the world: John Ram and Roy McIlroy. John Rahm.
Yeah.
Rahm. Yeah. But I think, and they also have Victor Hovland, FedEx Cup winner. Mm-hmm. And the U.S. is pushing out 4 rookies, and they have a very young, inexperienced team. I think Europe's able to pull it out.
Do you have one more bet?
No, that's 6.
Okay.
That's
awesome.
6.
That was the pick 6. And before we leave, we are going to give you a parlay for the people to pray for the parlay. And me and Don sat down. We cooked up a nice little juicy one. We lost last week. I'm sorry, but we're giving you guys a better odds bet and something we really do believe in.
Yes.
It's a 4-legger. The first one, Chiefs money line. Don already talked about it. We don't love the Jets. I think this is probably Zach Wilson's last week being a starter. Take the Chiefs money line.
Yeah,
Next
Chiefs
one.
should run this.
Don, what's the next one?
Next one, we're taking Seahawks over Giants. Again,
Love
another spread I'm taking.
Love it.
Unless we are walking into a buzzsaw
Which is
somehow.
plus money right now.
It is plus money at the
Money line.
moment because Giants are favored. I think the Saquon news will come out later in the week.
Yeah.
That's
So
going to
bet it
be
while
the
you can.
big determination on this game.
The next thing we're going to take is the Ravens money line, which is also a plus money line. I've already said I like Lamar underdog. I'm going to put a lot of money on the Ravens to cover and what money line.
No, I can't say anything against the Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, legally, you're not allowed to.
No, I'm not.
And
for the last leg, we're taking the 49ers over the Cardinals. It's just a nice secure leg here.
And it gives a couple little. It boosts the odds
it boosts a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
just one of those. I don't see how Dobbs is going to be able to run against this defense.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rout.
Yeah. So that you put all that together, put it in the book. That's plus 492. A 4-legger plus 492 with for sure wins. I mean,
It's a good luck.
all we can
I
do.
like it. I like it.
well, thank you guys so much for listening for another episode of Bust Picks. Thank you so much for listening. Go check out our TikTok, socials, Twitter, Instagram, all that. We're going to be trying to build a better community, build with you guys, talk to you guys. And remember, don't forget, pray for the parlay.